Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for episode number 22 of Coast to Coast Lifestyles. And we are here today with our monthly stats, but with a twist. Do you want to tell them about it, Heather?
Sure. So we thought it would be a fun change of pace to actually, since we're talking, sorry, let me reframe my brain. Since we're going into a few weeks of conversation about new construction, we figured it would be really interesting to kind of twist how we're looking at stats. And instead of just showing you the same stats, same numbers, comparing them specifically to new construction. So we're looking at stats from just standard stats of what month is it? March of 2024. And then comparing them to specifically new construction homes that sold in March of 2024 and kind of seeing what that looks like. So it's be fun.
Yes, I was actually excited to see, even for my area, kind of the difference between what I call pre-loved homes versus new construction homes. And so it was very interesting. And since this is not a statistic we just pull every day in real estate world, to my knowledge, there wasn't a pretty way and on my MLS to show you a little graph or chart or something. So we manually pulled these numbers. So we were a few minutes late. We apologize, but we were getting all this together and making sure that we were comparing as much as possible apples to apples. So, Heather, you want me to go first?
Sure, go for it.
Okay, so this is Harrison County. A lot of times I use that. It's just where a lot of data is. So it's a good look at a county. And so let's go ahead and look at March. These are just closed. So normally we're looking at kind of the market as a whole. These are properties that actually closed March 2024. And I pulled a report for ones listed as yes for new construction and no for new construction. And here's the comparison. So number of listings, 162 versus 63. I think that's pretty high, actually, because when you're looking at 63 brand new construction as opposed to 162 of all time, right? That was a pretty interestingly high number, I thought, for new construction. Median square footage, not surprisingly, we like bigger homes these days. So it was 1689 for the ones that were pre-loved versus 1915 for the new construction. Median list price. So I think a lot of times, Heather, I know, spoiler alert, guys, if you're not familiar with Heather's market, her numbers will look dramatically different than these. But here, a lot of times people think new construction, oh my gosh, it's going to be, luxury price point for our area. List price of the non-new construction was just under $235 versus $288.4 for new construction. Closed price $299,950. Median for pre-love versus $286,530. I need to verify that because I'm like, that is way over list price. But anyway, we're going to move on. Price per square foot median, $129.28 versus $151.07 for new construction. So one thing is not a huge gap when you consider the new construction is going to have less maintenance, lower insurance costs, some other things are factored into that. So actually not a huge difference, which is great for the new construction buyers, very affordable as compared to the average. Concessions. So I put median and average, everything else is median, but I did think it was interesting on the pre-loved homes, the median was $75 in seller concessions as opposed to $3,007 average. And then new construction, it was closer $5,000 versus $4,416. So a lot of times it does depend on the market. But many of our home builders across the coast right now are offering incentives to help with closing costs and things like that. So that was not surprising. And cumulative days on the market, 31 versus 39, obviously makes sense. The new construction, if they're not built yet, they have taken them a few days longer to get under contract. And then I got my little disclaimer at the bottom. So Heather, dying to hear about yours. So let us know what you got.
So mine looks a little different than yours. I'm gonna preface with that. So mine. So I use the same lingo, same order. So I have the pre-loved homes versus the new construction homes. We had about 460 pre-loved homes, or just homes just across the market that sold last month. And then we had 54 new construction homes. Now, the square footage is what actually blows my mind the most, because the median square footage of homes that sold last month was 2,702 square feet, when yours was like 1,600, I think. So big change there. And then for new construction, the median was 3,800 square feet. Like, that blows my mind. The amount of homes I've walked into in our area that is even close to 4,000 square feet is actually not all that common. So it surprised me that the number was just this high. And then when it comes to the median list price, so median list price for the pre-loved homes was $1,577,500. And then the new construction was almost $1.2 million over that. And around here, new construction really does come with a massive premium. So there's that. But part of the thing around here too is, fun fact, Washington State comes at the very bottom of the list of available housing for people. So housing in general is just in massive demand here, and new construction is just going for pretty high prices because of that. And then when you look at median sold price, for the most part, you basically get 100% of your asking price when it comes to new construction.
Right.
That does change. Like you mentioned, there's the stuff that isn't built yet, and then the stuff that is newly built that is being put on the market. So you're going to see both sides of the spectrum. But as far as the median on the list goes, it goes for exactly what list price is.
Right.
While in the pre-loved, as we've talked about in the past, like, our market here is picking up a lot, and we're seeing things going massively over asking price. So while the median for pre-loved is about 1.57-ish, the median sold price is 1.65. So yeah, there's that one. And then the price per square foot obviously is kind of reflected in that as well. And this is, by the way, I didn't do the price per square foot based off of these numbers. I did the price per square foot, just like, what is the median price per square foot when I pull it up on the MLS. So they don't quite marry up to these stats. And then cumulative days on market, again, to your point, where construction, especially if it's new construction, not everybody wants to wait for their house. So they let it sit for a little while. But for us, sitting is 2 weeks is a long time right now, because most things are going within 5 days of being on the market. And then, yeah, the median age is the other interesting thing. So the median home for the pre-loved, or the median age, was built in 1989, which is 35 years old this year. So I thought that was particularly interesting, because Seattle's east side is a lot newer on average than Seattle itself. Seattle has a lot of homes in the built in the early 1900s, while east side, they tend to be a little bit newer. In fact, I believe a lot of our homes came during the mid to late 90s, when Microsoft was first getting founded. So you had the very early tech money coming in on the east side. And then I forgot to take these off because we decided that we weren't going to cover it, but I guess since it's there.
Though. Mine was just 3-2-3-2, so it was pretty boring.
Okay.
But yeah, that is interesting that you definitely added over time an extra bedroom and bathroom.
Yep, exactly. Which is definitely super fascinating. Like, these numbers and the differences of new construction is actually blowing my mind a little bit, because I'm like, oh, okay, so yeah, we're getting bigger, we're getting more expensive, we're getting, more beds, more baths. Like, there's just more demand for that stuff these days in our area. So yeah, this is a fun little experiment, I thought.
Yes. So I did want to go back to mine. I realized I made a mistake, a very big mistake. I knew something was wrong with my numbers, and they were. I went back. And also, I did want to point out too a couple of things. So first off, I reversed my numbers here and said $299 close because I was like, I know that the list price isn't $234 and the close is $299. Here's the correct number, guys. I apologize. $234.9 is the list price, and the closing price was $229,950, which is much more accurate. So there we go. Correcting that. That makes a lot more sense. I did want to point out too, on yours, it was exactly on the money, the list price versus the closing price. Mm-hmm. Mine is off by only less than 2,000, but I did want to point out that is very common that the new construction sells spot on the most times. But sometimes if it's like a smaller builder, or maybe there's an appraisal issue or something, it can be a little off. But you can see there's much more of a difference between the list and closed on the pre-loved as opposed to new construction. Also, again, there's more in the seller concessions for the new construction. So this is very interesting. This is interesting. I think maybe at some point we could come back and like look at year versus year, you know.
Oh, that could be interesting.
Maybe when we do our yearly stats, we can kind of look at both too. I think would be interesting. But let us know what you guys think, because we always try to, on these monthly stats, not everyone loves numbers as much as me and Heather do. So we try to put a little something extra fun or spin on it. So Heather, super excited. We're going to continue on your new construction journey. Over the next few months, we've got some guest speakers and so on. So any other closing words, Heather?
Man, I guess just to continue on the fun new construction talk that's going on. So next week, we're going to be talking about common building misconceptions. Just things, especially things that I've heard over time that people think new construction is and what the experience is versus what it really is. And then the week after, we're going to talk about what it takes to finance different kinds of new construction. So last week, we talked about what the different kinds of new construction are, and we touched on the what the financing looks like, but we're going to actually bring in a lender to actually talk about legitimately like what you need to think about that's going to be different, what prices are different, closing costs are different. Like they're going to go more into depth. So I'm excited for that one. And I believe it's the weeks after that we're actually going to get into my personal home build and that experience. So it'll be fun.
Yes, very cool. I'm excited about that. And I'm excited to hear from you, who's actually been through it and knows firsthand the trials and triumphs. So we will see you guys next week, same time.